Well, I've met them over the years, very quickly and briefly as a concert promoter many, many years ago. And I used to be in the concert business with my partner, Stu Green. And you'd meet them briefly backstage and say hello when you were promoting a concert. But frankly, we reconnected, about 7 or 8 years ago in Miami when there was conversation about the beginning of this show and the idea of this show. And we figured out that we had a past and that I was, along with Stu, with the promoters the night that she had that unfortunate, terrible accident. She was on her way to Syracuse. The trucks were unloaded. The show was set up, and she was on the tour bus and had the accident with the tractor trailer. And of course, the show didn't happen. But she had this extraordinary, remarkable recovery, and here we are today.
Well, it must be an amazing journey for you too, because as a producer, you've invested in the show. And some of that includes the emotion of having that relationship. And you have a knack for finding just the right shows to invest in and bring to the stage.
I think certainly the question about being somehow drawn to the story is completely true. This resonated with me at so many different levels. I'm a child of immigrants. Their American dream part of this story is incredible. The adversity they had, the love that they have, the family that they have, that all comes through in this show. I often say when you go to the theater, if your head and your heart and your soul can cross over through to the stage, then there's something special going on. And with this show, all of that happens. You laugh, you cry, you jump on your feet, you start dancing, and you hear a beautiful story, and it's pretty extraordinary, and I'm really proud to have had some small little part of this journey.
Well, a major part, really, Albert. You're being humble, but Gloria and Emilio and the whole cast seem to be in a place that they themselves are very humble and appreciative of everything that's happened to them, and you don't see that sometimes with superstars.
No, I think that's true and well said. They are so grateful. They're so generous. With their lives and with their resources, they give back in any way they possibly can. It's a remarkable story. They're a model to watch for all of us. I'm very proud to know them, proud to call them friends, and I think it's something that comes right through on this show as well, that you feel and see all that. And of course, in person, when you meet them, it's like you've known them your whole lives, and they're just regular people. They're humble and so proud of where they are and how they got here.
And this show is just one of many in the M&T Broadway series. So you have a great season coming up.
Yeah, we're very proud of what has evolved here at Shea's and in Western New York in particular. You've often heard me say, John, that this is an institution, a community asset that's second to none. And now to have a subscription base that puts us in the top 5 in America of touring Broadway, and they get the kind of support and response we do, and then to be able to launch the tour under the New York State Theater tax credit, the story doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. There's an economic impact that's huge for the community, but the support that we get from the community, it just goes along with it. So I'm so happy and proud to be part of it and to watch how it has grown.
Give us the background from Western New York to Broadway. Tell us the journey. How did it all happen?
I grew up in Orchard Park, New York. My family is there. I went to Orchard Park High School. Orchard Park Middle School was where I did my first musical in 7th grade.
You remember what that was?
It was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I did musicals all through high school. I was actually in Spirit of Youth, if you remember.
I remember Spirit of Youth. You'd be at the Erie County Fair.
I performed 3 summers of Spirit of Youth here in locally, and we toured all over. And then I went to Fredonia, so I went to SUNY Fredonia for college. I studied music education for 2 years, and then I switched to musical theater. And it was I did almost every theater in town. I remember my first theater was Upstage, New York, which was at the University of Buffalo with Lynn Kurtzio-Formato, and she put me in my first show, and she was a part of Spirit of Youth, and she was a big part of helping me to find my way into the theater business. And
did you think any of that background to really kind of make it work helped you in your journey in New York? Because, you're up against so much competition, Devon.
Absolutely. Growing up here, I had a music teacher named Bruce Gustafson. He passed away, but he was a huge. He helped me in so many ways at a very young age to learn things about music that I think a lot of kids didn't get that opportunity. And he also believed in me making my dreams come true, which is what this show on your feed is about, making dreams come true. So,
What's your role in the show? How do you define it?
I play Phil. Phil is a record producer in New York who was a huge conduit to help move the Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine and help them to move on to bigger and better things. It takes a little time in the show, you'll see. Don't want to ruin it for anyone, but Phil comes around. He starts out pretty tough on them, and eventually he's one of the biggest believers in their big dreams. And he was very smart to be behind those because they're obviously a very successful duo.
Well, they're very inspirational. How much time have you spent with Gloria and Emilio?
We just met this week here in Buffalo, so I've gotten to speak with them a little bit, not very much yet, but we did talk a little bit about the show, and they got to watch our rehearsals and give us a little. They were very helpful. They're very happy to be around and happy to be around the cast, and I felt like we were a family immediately. There's something about this show that brings about family, which is amazing to me because I'm home here in Buffalo, where I grew up, doing a show about family and about making your dreams come true, and it's really unbelievable. My mother is selling our family house here in Orchard Park, and it just sold a few days ago. So I was here for that moment, which is kind of synchronicity in the universe, and I get to. Have been helping her and home to help her on top of showing up at here for 12 hours a day to work on the show and rehearse. And so you'll see in the show, it's a lot about Gloria's relationship with her mother and her grandmother and how much this community stuck together and took care of each other. I think that's what we need a lot of right now in the world. We need
no question.
A lot.
Had you performed on the stage at Shea's anytime in the past?
I have, actually. I've been very fortunate. The tours that I've done in the last 5 years of my life have come here. I did Jersey Boys in 2013. I played Tommy DeVito in Jersey Boys here for a whole week, which was amazing. And then a couple years later, I came back with Motown, the musical, and I got to tell Berry Gordy's story here. And now I'm here with this, and this one tops it for me. You'll see when you get to watch the show. It's the dancers, the music. We have original members of the Miami Sound Machine playing in the band on stage, and Gloria and Emilio working with us, and it's a blast. The show is so much fun, and I don't know if I've ever had so much fun on stage.